Hey guys, this is Andrei, a certified translator and a real estate concierge, and today we have a little questions and answers session. Nothing serious, nothing too entertaining, maybe a few bits of serious information that may help you in further trip or relocation planning. In the first line, I would like to thank you who supported the channel. The patrons, the members of the channel on YouTube, the people who push the thanks button. It's a really simple thing to do, $5 or $10, just to show you real appreciation and to help me continue with the enlightenment part of the work. Speaking of the support to the channel, you may or may not do it. It's a human thing. You may have some money, like $5 or $10 to help this cause. There may be other greater causes to do that. But when we transit from just watching the channel to actually planning a relocation and you're contacting me for some professional piece of advice, we are starting with a professional consultancy that we are holding online or in person for money. And I hope this is something that you will understand. It's one of the most basic ways to find some starting point for cooperation. You may watch the video how I may help you as a real estate concierge to understand better what I'm doing. And the consultancy fee actually helps me to understand your plan. You actually are building or perfecting your plan, and we see how serious we both are treating each other as an operator and a client, a person planning to relocate to Belarus. Thank you for your understanding, and let's continue and see what kind of feedback we got to the previous video with headlines. From the current perspective, late February, this seems to be a fairly busy year already. People are planning their relocation. Right now, there's an American guy in town who is finishing his relocation and another one shopping for a Stalin flat, which is a serious purchase. If you've been watching my channel for a while, you know how much they cost. And I would say that things are busy on both sides of the border that is about to become second Iron Curtain. Some say that the West is going down, and some say that the new Iron Curtain is being built and are trying to flip a coin to see which side of the Iron Curtain is going to be better one to stay at after it comes up. I'll be reading some feedback and posts you guys left under the video and replying from my own perspective, which may be at times my professional point of view and sometimes my personal point of view. Let's get started. Some guy writes, expect the agents at the airport to count your money in front of you before you can exit the screening area. That's customs control. This is different from other countries where they don't touch your money at all. This is something I'd argue with. I haven't been to many different countries, but a recent rumor is the US boarding procedures now have some DEA, that's drug police guys, people looking for stacks of money, like wads of money that Westerners already started forgetting how they look unless it's a crime, and they basically can confiscate them just on the assumption that this may be laundered drug money and you can't really have it. That's down there in America, in the West, and you may correct me if I got it from the wrong sources. As for the Minsk National Airport or the land borders, they are sometimes touchy about somebody having more than $10,000 in cash. Normally, the undeclared amount of money gets confiscated. What's on top of the 10? There were some tragic cases last year. One guy lost $3,000, the other guy lost $30,000 plus a fine. So I would say this is something one may be very careful with to keep the money. The next guy says, regarding cash, important to make sure not marked in any way or damaged. I withdrew US dollars from bank ATM in Minsk to take to Russia. Russians rejected some of the bills. I'll add this with my current American's experience. He got some bills from an American bank, and those were American bills printed in America, hopefully, not China. And the local banks were touchy about this. Some different little stamps, different things, little damages, and the mold that only can be seen in the black light flash. I have one of those, by the way, from Amazon. The things like that may lead to rejection of a bill, and so if there is a deal and you're buying something using dollars, of course, but buying it in rubles, there may be a problem because you'd have to back up like $1,000 to a few $1,000s on the spot. And if there is such a need, your real estate concierge may help you out. on the spot. Not many real estate agents would do that. So the moral is, the point is, the bills have to be like mint quality, and you may want to have some replacement bills if you're going to a deal or some kind of big event, let's say. As to another question from a different viewer, the money can be swapped, exchanged, officially exchanged at the banks day by day as you go through your shopping or tourism routine, and this is how it works. Of course, Western cards still work about 70% cases, and basically ATMs do so as well, mostly producing rubles, which is the only legal everyday payment mode here, or currency, which you may have in the pocket just in case. There's a lot of talking and many recent headlines about Russian and Belarusian visa acceptance law. It doesn't work. It does not work, period. That's it for now. And there's another question. Is there no way I just use UK bank card? Do I have to bring cash? Yes, of course you can use your UK bank card, but logically you understand that only once you're here you will understand how much it is accepted or rejected by the card readers of different businesses, and normally it's not that many rejections. And that's where your replacement cash will come in play, to pay off the landlord, to buy you a matryoshka or something like this. And you have to be diverse. The modern world requires diversity. We've had a little discussion with a guy who believes that kids cannot bring $10,000 on their person without declaration. I was under impression that they can, and there were several cases when kids did bring 10K without declaring, and a legal firm explains on its website somewhere that it's really unwritten whether or not the applicant, the passenger, has to be of age to carry 10K. So, like, by law, it may be so, but law agencies here exhibit some flexibility as they translate the law, so this may not be in your favor. So before bringing it in, as a family of 4, 2 kids underage, I would check if that is possible with the customs control. Maybe I'll throw in an official query for that. A quick note about a foreigner's driving license. If the country signed the Vienna Convention of 1968, it's just enough to have your license with a translation, and ideally notary verified translation, for the traffic cop's sake. If you are applying for permanent residency, you probably know what to do in that case. In any way, on a temporary residency or just a visa, you can drive around either with your national license, if your country is a party to that Convention of Vienna, or have it ready with translation on you. And not having it is not really a good deal. And one of the viewers was really talkative. Thank you very much, by the way. And we'll go comment by comment and follow with my opinion afterwards. Belarus has always evolved to the better. Let's say, yeah, generally that's what we're all up to once we leave our house after breakfast. The infrastructure is at the highest possible level. It's arguable in Minsk. If you rent a nice place, you get your 200 megabits a second internet, fiber optics and everything, home delivery, Japanese food and shit. Yeah, it's kind of good. If you take a short ride away from Minsk, there may be mixed feelings about the perfect infrastructure. The new housing areas are not only beautiful, but standard is high class. I would say no, the standard is not necessarily high class, and generally this is quite arguable, and the quality there is sometimes rather crappy. Everything everywhere is in order and clean. Well, let's say on a tourist visit, few days, yes, I would agree with you. If you are pulled over in traffic control, you're treated with the utmost respect. Let's say it's not the utmost respect. Basically, if your constitutional right for freedom of movement is violated and you're pulled over without any obvious reason, I wouldn't call it respect. But I would say generally, yes, being on the positive side. I was a couple of times let away with my few, let's say, wrongs out there. Not that I didn't have a license or anything, but once there were lights that were actually off, that was at the beginning of my driving experience. Then there was some other minor thing, like technical examination was expired. And well, after having had a kind of friendly conversation matters a lot in our dealings here, not just with the cops or traffic cops specifically. and I was let away with it. So yeah, I could agree that the police system isn't 100% repressive, but at some point I would love to see it commanding law and enforcing law rather than just enforcing. That's my own point of view as that of a relocation operator here in Belarus. Visa rules are eased all the time. We might agree to that, and the Russian Belarusian Visa Act that may soon be in power at work is a nice thing generally. But over the last 30 years, they could have done this a little bit faster and scale that I'm saying as an ex-tour guide, because when we were struggling to get some travelers, there were just occasions like International Ice Hockey Champ of 2014 to get the foreigners in. And then it wasn't really helping to a small tour guide on the ground to get some kind of a earning. Bureaucracy is getting less and easier every year. If that was so, I'd be out of my work, but no, it's not really getting less and easier. The food is fantastic. Yeah, I agree. I like that. And you know, my favorite place in the central street for breakfast and everything is still there. So people are welcome to have a bite out there. Whoever you ask something, they will do their best to help you. Yes, Belarusians are quite helpful, even not speaking language perfectly. They will like do their best to make some moves, or show you the direction, or explain you something that you may need at the very moment. It's not 100% this way, like in all the countries, but generally we're very outgoing, talkative, although we like never smile and all, but we're very helpful at times. You don't see police anywhere, but you are free, you're safe, sorry, everywhere. Yeah, I would say that street safety, like nighttime walks and rides and everything, bar safety, street shootings and that kind of stuff, that's all not really typical for us. I mean, there are sometimes thefts, fights and everything, but they're not like massive or something, let's say, annoying or bad enough to change your weekend plans, get you a certain style of whiling your weekend away, you know, avoiding different places, avoiding different time zones or areas in the city. Minsk is just absolutely nice, safe, and day and night you can walk around, preferably not walking with an iPhone stretched like this. You can be just perfectly okay. And last but not least, I just picked the main points from the guy's feedback. Going to Belarus is like entering real life, free of all modern stupidity. Let's say it's also arguable in its own way, but I like this bit about modern stupidity, which is just a perfect way to phrase all the stuff that YouTube would have shut us down for, or Facebook, or all of them together, I guess. And yes, Belarus still is a classical society with, let's say, man and wife making a family. Clearly outlined gender roles, which some may like or some may not like. There is, you know, men and women. There is sun shining above us, and there are other things. So many people, many relocation people, ground their relocation move, be that pension or remote work, down here based on the classical values that still hold over here, and let's say like resist the European influence in this very manner. It's a very complicated and deliciously philosophical topic to talk about. Maybe I'll get some good foreigners who recently relocated to talk to the reasons talk about the reasons of their relocation, the factors that they rate the highest, like top 5 factors. Belarus is a good place to move. And sometime later, maybe next week, along with that family lawyer talk, if you have any family lawyer questions like divorces, alimony, children, stay with the mother and all kinds of stuff, you're welcome to answer them underneath, because that's going to be the video that will roll out next. Otherwise, thank you very much for watching. It was a pleasure seeing you guys, or let's say talking to you guys. I hope it's mutual. Press a like, press a dislike, and hope to see you in Minsk someday. Now, this 5 minutes from now, the evening expats meeting kickstarts, so I have to be there to not annoy the people by being late. Not that this was intended, set up, or paid for, but for dessert, a local traffic cop just got us a little treatment in October Square. There's now parliamentary elections ongoing in Belarus. The corrupt Western press is supplying its coverage. Let's leave these matters on the side. You've seen the clip where I was taking a right turn, then going up Independence Avenue past October Square, and second time in the last couple of months, last 40 days, I think, I was pulled over by a cop. And there are first two things that he's violating without basically doing something wrong. I get stopped. I believe this is not constitutional, but until court proves otherwise, let's say he did everything right. The second thing that happened by law, let's just leave it unnamed. By law, the traffic cops cannot stop a car at the place which is not used for parking, so in a place where one cannot get parked. And October Square is a non-parking area. Tomorrow, out of curiosity, I'll check out the signs. Okay, he pulls me over and introduces himself, which is like 50% through with the introduction, because by law they must introduce themselves and tell the reason why they stop you. And then they interpret for a reason, I want to see your papers. So by law they can do this, they can see your papers, but not without reason, not just randomly saying, I want to see your papers. That just doesn't work like this. At least we believe so, the drivers. So I said, I'm sorry, your actions are not constitutional. He says, I don't want to care or deal with constitution. I just would like to see your papers. I said, well, you did the introduction right, but how about the reason for the car being pulled over? He says, well, by the style of your driving, I thought you were drunk. And I say, do you see any signs of intoxication here in the car? He said, no, I don't see any, but now I believe that you may have no license. And I said, okay, we did some, minor, let's say, discussion in between, you don't want to show me papers or something, which would be a worse offense on my side. If I said, no, I don't want to show my papers, that would be a worse violation, but we'll see, we'll talk about these things later. So it ended up with us rather cheerfully interacting. And again, I just couldn't find my camera and switch it on and put it on the dashboard to get you some good pictures. The light was dark, so the movie wouldn't be any exciting anyway. We parted. Before we parted, I said, okay, officer, let me show you your license, and meanwhile I would like to see your ID, because on the first claim by any citizen of Belarus, a police officer must produce his ID, and whether or not there is a cause or not, there is a wrongdoing or not, it's a must to do that on their side. And we just mutually flashed our IDs, kind of wished each other luck and all, and he left there in the rainy square. I'm here with my French muffins, half-priced. So this was a little dessert story. Thanks for watching, and see you in Minsk someday. Cheers.